And what's going on, everybody? It's Still Alive back with another one, man. And sorry I haven't been live in uh fuck at least a few days because, well, if y'all can see, y'all, everybody that does watch my stuff and knows what I talk about knows that I be skateboarding and shit in my wheelchair. And yup, the other day skateboard ramp one I lost, but we'll be right back at it, man. But we're gonna get right off into this Camarlo or this Anthony situation, man, for real, because I think this situation's messed up, and I think it's being blown out of proportion big time. Because like, there, everybody keeps bringing up the knife. Oh, he had a knife at school. So what? That was common in my school, at least. Like, we all carried pocket knives. I carried a pocket knife in my pocket from 5th grade all the way till I got kicked out of high school. 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. Like, I carried a pocket knife every day. And so did 90% of the boys in my school and some of the girls. So, like, I don't understand this narrative like, oh, he was carrying a pocket knife. It's America. We have the right to defend ourselves. Yes, he was in the wrong tent. I'll give him that. Yes, he was in the wrong tent. He should not have been over there, but it was raining. It was a rain delay, and he was trying to stay. Like, what are we talking about here? But man, we're gonna get right off into this because I don't know everything about it, but a lot of this shit I feel like is blown way out of proportion. I definitely feel like it was self-defense, but we're gonna get off into it and find out.
The Carmelo Anthony case is heating up and it is going down in Texas. Apparently, there's been some racial protests outside of the courthouse. A registered ex-offender is saying he witnessed the actual stabbing and nobody even knows who this guy is. I don't even know how he was allowed at a school. It's also been confirmed that Carmelo had a knife, a folding knife, because everyone was throwing it out there that, oh no, it wasn't a knife, it was a cleat tool. Apparently a cleat tool doesn't even exist. He had a knife.
That's fine.
But the ex-offender was saying Carmelo got jumped by 4 people. A lawyer is saying that isn't the case, and it's looking like they're gonna have to go the manslaughter route. We're gonna be covering all of what's going on now, but I will say this video is gonna
I don't know that he got jumped. I'm not saying that, but I do know he was confronted, and they were the aggressors first. He didn't aggress, like, he didn't go into that tent and then just pull out his knife and stab somebody.
contain some racial things, right? Because I'm going to be showing both sides of the protests.
Of
I'm going
course,
to
you
try
should.
to edit out.
And I feel sorry for everybody in the situation. I feel sorry for the dude who lost his life. Condolences to his family and shit and everything. But I just don't feel like Carmelo Anthony should be convicted of first degree murder, maybe manslaughter. To me, it's honestly sounds like self defense because Texas is also, you have the right to stand your ground. I'm pretty sure.
What I don't think YouTube will allow. And keep in mind, this is not a place for hate. We are not for racism. We
No,
are not trying to
absolutely
see this
not.
as a black and white thing.
Absolutely not.
We are trying to see this as a right and wrong thing. Was Carmelo Anthony right or wrong in taking the life of Austin Metcalf?
What they did to our kids is up, man. A global social media addiction settlement may be coming in 2026.
These platforms allegedly failed to protect vulnerable youth from addictive algorithms and harmful content.
You want to make hundreds of
By the end of this, I'm gonna be freaking way more coordinated with my left hand because I have to do everything with my left hand. People don't realize how hard it is to like brush your teeth and do all this shit with your non-dominant hand. Even just using the mouse and trying to get coordinated like with clicking shit is not easy.
dollars for you can up for a pin to smash him to get out of the courthouse and topic enjoy phone games. Go ahead and make you some free cash. Now shout out to Smash the Topic. He would be on scene recording what is going on outside of the courthouse, and he would say a man who says he was allowed to view surveillance video during the early stages of the investigation into the April 2025 incident involving Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf has publicly shared his account of what he says the footage shows. The video recorded inside the stadium is considered a key piece of evidence as Anthony's murder trial continues in Collin County. This week, jurors have heard testimony and reviewed video evidence related to the confrontation that resulted in Metcalf's death. The statements made by the individual have not been independently verified in court, and the surveillance footage has not been publicly released. So pay attention to what this man just said. The man that's about to speak, it has not been verified by anyone that what he is saying is truth, and he is claiming to be the only person who's seen the actual surveillance video.
Why?
Because the people that have seen it in the courtroom, they're not allowed to talk about it. So this is breaking alleged news.
It's clear enough where you can see the actual individual raindrops come by the camera.
Okay.
That's how clear it is. You actually see them walking up. You see that Karmelo is already up under there. He's under there minding his business.
Dodging the rain, or
Yeah.
That's what from the videos that you did see out there, it was a rain delay and it was raining. So even though he was in the wrong tent, he was just trying to get under a tent to stay dry, is what it seemed like to me. And then the other team got mad that he was in their tent. Like, come on, where's the sportsmanship? Like, it's raining.
It was still raining. You know,
Right.
I'm familiar with them. So that day we were under a tornado watch.
Right.
And we were under thunderstorm warning, and we know we had already had some light rain then, and it started raining again. Then it was over with for the day.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened on that day. But they were at a rain delay already, and so during that time when that happened, the twins, their two buddies, and a few other kids, because there was a few kids involved with them. They were all coming from the direct.
How's my camera quality look, guys? I got a new camera. It's a lot better for sure than my other one.
Direction of the middle school,
Right.
coming walking back up.
Right.
On the video, you can see those four that actually was involved, and maybe about 3 or 4 others that was with them, skipping up, trying to catch up behind. One veered off probably toward his way to go to the coach and
Okay.
kind of distract him a little bit. And then the other 4 came walking together. One went in front of them, went past.
Right.
The other 4 went and they surrounded Carmelo. You know, if you're Carmelo,
and they showed that on that video.
it's on the video.
Okay, come on.
You can see them walk
I'm gonna
up.
say little
And
stuff.
I'll put
while
it
you
this
talking.
way.
Okay.
They actually tell you when you're watching the video, pay attention to this corner right here, because if you look anywhere else, you might miss different things.
Okay.
So watch those 4. Here they're 4 right there coming up.
Right.
That's exactly what they say.
Okay.
And so you have no way to be confused that it's those 4.
Okay.
So they come up, they surround them, and this immediate moment of not even a few seconds of pause, then that's when they jump. And so
So
it
they
was,
actually did jump him.
yeah, it wasn't just no touch. It wasn't just all that moment. Yeah, it was a push. It was all kind of things. But Austin pushed, Hunter hit, and then everybody swung. But at the same time,
So it's more
Karmelo-
than it's more than the twins that got some licks
all
on
4.
them. So it showed that in the video.
Yes, in the video. So again, you got Hunter and Austin standing in the middle,
Okay.
and you have the light bright boy here, and you have the darker boy here.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember. So I have to go back and think about it. But that's where they were. One was going up and down while they were talking, and kind of pushing or whatever he was doing. Austin and Hunter was in front. So where they're talking about grabbing bags, Hunter actually said that I grabbed his bag.
Right.
And then later on, he said that Austin threw the bag.
Okay.
Jeff also said the same thing.
You don't grab, dude. Karmelo was just trying to keep his clothes dry. It sounds like to me, trying to keep dry, keep his bag dry. It's raining. There's a rain delay. Yeah, he's in the wrong tent, but it's wild to the fact that like somebody would grab his bag and throw his bag.
And so that's them both antagonizing. And we
Right.
know under Texas law, I just have the fear that you're about to do something to me and you can get up out of here. Yeah, so you don't have to touch me. But at that point, he still stood there and stopped there. And whatever they say alleged was said, you don't know that until they get to it here. But once they did that, they started hitting him. Karmelo actually was able to back out and try to get away. So he was actually trying to get away the first time. Austin grabbed him, and you can see his hoodie coming out like this, and they brought him back in.
Okay.
And when they brought him back in, that's when you can see Austin put him in a headlock. You can see that all the rest of them are still hitting. That must be when the poke happened, because he was able to get out again. He backed out. He looked to the right. That's where the other little kid was filming, because they got some cell phone footage too. But that's where he was filming. He looked directly at him in his camera, and then he went this way to the left. He went down. He fell. And that's when they realized he was gone, because they were still punching.
We finally moved from California to Illinois, and it was the best decision we ever made, except for one thing. I'll get to that part in a second because it almost ruined everything.
Yeah.
But first, we left Los Angeles last August, and the change.
Okay, so first off, I don't ever trust somebody that wears a bandana print t-shirt. Now we're
Yeah.
gonna look at the
This story that this dude is 100% telling is not necessarily 100% fact. But from the videos you can see that have been out there, it was clearly a rain delay. He was clearly under the tent trying to stay dry, and then an altercation happened of some sort. Whether it was actually a jumping or not, something happened. And whether, like he said, though, like the dude said, if you just have to feel like your life is in danger in Texas and you can stand your ground.
comments real quick. All respect to the people in the comments, because you know, when you see something online, the power of the internet is you're gonna see what you see and you're gonna assume it's true.
Facts.
So the reactions in the comment section, while they may be considered irresponsible if they haven't done their own homework, these are just genuine reactions of people taking what this man said as truth. So Mr. Allison would say that's why the video was never public, because it showed Austin and his brother as the aggressor. Tiara would say, I thought they issued a gag order for witnesses. Protect this man. And Officer Tatum would say, that's not even the testimony of Anthony. I need to see this. So apparently this guy right here has seen something that—
Shout out to Officer Tatum. I watched some of his videos and stuff too. If y'all know who that is, maybe I'll get into reacting to some of his stuff too sometime, because he gives pretty good commentary on certain things.
Nobody else except for the people actually in court have seen. But who is this man? Now I'm gonna have to blur out some information just so you know this stays up, but this is Morris Dwayne Turner, and he's a lifetime registered ex-offender after he apparently picked up a high school boy, took him to a hotel, did what he did, brought him back to the school with hickeys on his neck.
Dude, what the
right?
fuck, dude?
So how long have I been recording this? 8 minutes in, I should be good. How the fuck he was at a school at a track meet?
Yeah,
I have no fucking idea, right? So I
probably had a kid there. I bet he has a son, and sometimes even if you are on the registry, if you have a kid in school in sports, they will still allow it, which I don't necessarily think is right, but they do allow it sometimes.
find it highly unlikely that anything this man said is true. That this registered ex-offender was at a high school track meet and was able to witness something that nobody else saw. For some reason, they decided to show him the video and no one else. I don't believe it, but that's just my opinion.
I don't necessarily
Now,
believe
Michael
it either.
Campbell, I believe, is a trial lawyer out of Texas, and one of his most recent reposts would say it may be time for Karmelo's defense to pivot to a manslaughter strategy. Now, Michael would say, what I am hearing from the Karmelo Anthony trial isn't good. Yikes. It seems like contradicting versions and interpretations of the events. That's normal at trial. I'm going to reserve my opinion until all evidence is presented. Somebody would comment saying, what are you hearing? And he would reply saying that the surveillance video was showed in court clearly shows a one-on-one physical altercation and then a stabbing.
Okay, so a one-on-one physical altercation, which is what we thought it was from the beginning. No, I never heard this jumping story. I never heard nothing about him getting jumped. I heard that the several boys confronted him from like the video and like the people that were there talking and stuff. It sounded like several people confronted him, but then it was a one-on-one altercation between probably that Austin dude they're talking about, I'm assuming. I don't know. And Karmelo. And if either way, one-on-one doesn't defeat the purpose that, well, it's still self-defense.
If this is true, and if it was me as a defense attorney, I would pivot and start arguing manslaughter, heat of passion, and ask for probation. So an actual lawyer from Texas is saying what he's heard that's been showed inside of the courtroom from the actual video is a one-on-one physical altercation resulting in a stabbing. And he is saying if he was the lawyer, look, There's not much getting away with this. I would put it away from murder and put it to manslaughter, and we'll say it was just the heat of the moment and try to get him.
Well, just because it's a one-on-one altercation, though, doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't self-defense. Self-defense applies whether it's 4-on-1 or 1-on-1.
Shitload of probation. But watch how crazy it's getting outside of the courtroom as protesters clash.
Hey, did you know you might get a big cash payout if you were in a car accident up to 1 year?
It also just depends on who the aggressor was.
Link around this.
But from the sounds of it, it sounds like they're going to be the ones that were the aggressors because they were trying to kick him out of the tent.
If you got hurt by a driver than last year, you might be.
Now, if y'all could hear that correctly, the man is chanting, "The only good cracker is a dead cracker." And this isn't one-sided. I'm gonna show y'all the other side right now.
Karmelo Anthony should be swinging from a tree outside this courthouse.
Jesus.
Karmelo Anthony should be from a tree. He wants to reestablish race relations.
I've seen this dumbass dude before, and 95 to 98% of what he says is fucking retarded.
In this country so that we can get along.
Tensions were high today for the Karmelo Anthony case, who is on trial for the alleged unaliving of Austin Metcalf.
We love our black youth. They deserve protection too. So, excuse me if I use colorful language like Karmelo Anthony needs to be swinging from a tree. Our people are being hunted by your people.
Now, this dude, Jake Lang, is annoying as shit.
Yes.
He's popping up at everything. He was one of the rioters from the Capitol or whatever the fuck that situation.
Okay, well, the Capitol wasn't a riot, and it wasn't an insurrection, but he was there.
Was he got pardoned for this shit or whatever, and then he got thrown out of Chud the Builder's court appearance.
A conservative activist pardoned by President Trump for his role in the January 6th insurrection was let out
Now,
of the
Chud the Builder deserves what he got. He antagonized that situation and shot somebody and then shot his own self. People were calling him Cheddar Bob off fucking 8 Mile. Instead of Cheddar Bob, they were calling him Cheddar Bob. He's a dumb fuck. And so is that Jake Lang dude. But this Karmelo situation is different. This Karmelo situation really sounds like self-defense to me.
Montgomery Courthouse in handcuffs today.
It happened during a hearing for social media personality Chud the Builder, whose real name is Dalton Etherly. During the hearing, the judge asked conservative activist Jake Lang to leave. Lang had reacted to video evidence being played in the courtroom. While being escorted out, Lang said something about a, quote, two-tier justice system. The judge then ordered an officer to take him into custody.
Now, Lang is a self-proclaimed January 6th political prisoner.
So I guess jumping into anything race related just gives this man purpose, but
Yeah,
he's just like
that's what he does. He got beat up outside for going, I don't remember. He went to some protest, and I disagree with what the protest was about, but he went there and was saying all types of wild, I think it was a No Kings protest or something like that. But he went there and started being racist as hell and ended up getting beat the fuck up.
involved with every single thing that he can involve himself with. But you can hear the aggression, and obviously he's saying things to get wild reactions because this is, again, how he makes his money, his views and saying crazy shit.
Black people can treat, like you said, have enslaved black people, have mass incarcerated black people.
I think it's victim culture. I think it's victim culture, and there's too much.
Now, he's saying it's victim culture that black people feel like that, but he also just said your people are hunting us down, so that would make him sound like the victim.
Gosh, motherfucker, you barely made it to the. You got one foot in the grave and one on a banana peel.
So this is the same guy saying the only good cracker is a dead cracker.
Yeah.
And clearly there's going to be people that are radicalized on both sides. Their opinions are not the opinions of everyone. So you can't just see Jake Lang and think all white people agree with him. You can't just see the one guy talking about crackers and think all black people agree with him.
I don't think either one of them are right. I think they're both wrong.
One voice does not speak for the entire race. Again, this isn't a race thing. Unfortunately, there's two different races involved, but this is a right versus wrong situation.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with race either, though. I think it was strictly the fact that they were mad that another person that was on the team was enough. Hold on one sec, guys. Let me look out the window. No one's here. But I don't think that this situation had anything to do with race. I think it was just I think an altercation just happened strictly off the fact that they didn't like that the other dude was from another team was in their tent, and they got mad and they tried to throw his stuff out, and an altercation happened and somebody sadly lost their life. And it's a bad situation all around, but I don't think this situation had anything to do with race. Like, those kids weren't being racist. Karmelo wasn't being racist because they were white. The white kids weren't being racist because they were black. It was an altercation, a rivalry. They were mad that he was in their tent.
So let's look at the facts and hear what actually came from the first day of trial.
Good afternoon. Yeah, day 2 off to a emotional start this morning. We had a first responder as the first witness on the stand, 3 witnesses so far, first responder and 2 officers. The first responder was a firefighter and paramedic that pretty much testified to the severity of the wounds once he arrived to Austin Metcalf's body, and just talked about the intense life-saving efforts they went through trying to revive him, to which, of course, to no avail. But they talked about, attaching a machine to his chest to read a pulse, and he had no pulse. They said it was flatline. There was an acronym he used, a medical term, and the prosecutor asked for, simplicity for the lay people in the gallery, and he just said, yeah, he had no pulse. He was pretty much dead.
And I mean, they say he got hit in the heart, so I can only imagine it would take like less than a minute for him.
Less than a minute? No, it would be like Charlie Kirk. It would be instant. Getting hit in the artery, you're going to bleed out within seconds. Like, within 15, 20, 30 seconds, you're gone.
And to be gone. But, that's the thing that a lot of people don't respect.
Get hit anywhere where blood, not a vein, because that's a little bit different, because veins don't bleed the same. But you get hit in an artery or a heart or anywhere that pushes blood through, you're gone.
First responders, like, you don't think of the things that they see. That firefighter is forever scarred by being the first one to respond to a teenager who had just been stabbed in the heart, and he has to be the one to report that this kid has no pulse and then testify about it and relive that memory.
I bet he can't sleep at night. I bet he fucking, man, that would be tough. I don't know. You know what I mean? That would be really tough. I've seen and been around a lot of fucked up shit in my life, and I've never seen something like that. A little kid, not a little kid, but a teenager stabbed dead in the heart. You know what I mean? Being a first responder, like, that would be hard to see.
Very cooperative. He was being compliant. He didn't try to run away. But the key thing about this testimony here on the body cam, you hear Karmelo say to the officer, he put his hands on me, I told him not to. And when he says that phrase, he clearly he's crying hysterically. You can hear him sobbing in a
he
very
didn't want to do
emotional
it.
state. But the prosecution's harping on that last half of that statement, the I told him not to part, because the prosecution says that's simply a lie. We know we've heard that phrasing, he told him not to put his hands on me, or put your hands on me and see what happens. That's the narrative that the prosecution's running with, and that eventually led Karmelo to stab Austin Metcalf. But there was another officer whose body cam was played during this officer's testimony, where you heard the officer say, we have the alleged suspect, and then out loud, I'm not alleged, I did it. So kind of damaging to the defense's
Well,
case.
he's saying that he's the one that did the stabbing. He's not saying that he did it because it wasn't self-defense. He's saying, like, I'm not alleged, like, I did it. I turned myself in, you know what I mean? Like, it happened. It was me. But it didn't mean that it wasn't self-defense still.
Here, but then we just heard from an officer taking any life-saving efforts for Austin Metcalf's body. More security is what he was saying in evidence control. He was the one securing off the scene there, and he actually showed, or we saw pictures of the knife. It was a 5-inch blade. The first time the jury actually saw that knife in.
So that kills all the rumors and people making shit up that it was a cleat tool. It was not a cleat tool. It was a knife. The thing about it was, I believe the length of a blade in Texas to be considered a weapon is like 5 or 5.5 inches. The actual blade, not the knife with the blade, right? And I believe the blade was only 3.5 inches.
Yeah,
so while
it was a pocket knife. He was carrying a pocket knife, just like millions of other teenage boys do. I carry a pocket knife in my pocket every day to this day. I've carried a pocket knife in my pocket since I was in grade school every day, just like millions of other people do.
that doesn't qualify as a concealed weapon, it's still a knife, right? It's a pocket knife. You can get them at Lowe's, you can get them at Home Depot, whatever. It's not a hunting knife, but it's still a knife.
Person, they did a demonstrative effort in front of this jury where they showed that the blade could be swung out really quick with just the stroke of a thumb. You could open it really quickly with one hand, but
yeah, it's a pocket knife. That's what they're for. It wasn't a switchblade, trying to act like it was a switchblade where you could pop it up in half a second. You know what I mean? It's a pocket knife. You flip them open. Fuck. I don't got my pocket knife here, but I got this little fucking knife that I just keep laying around because, like, I'm a double felon, so I keep baseball bats and knives laying around for protection. So, fuck with me.
The impactful part of that testimony is that we saw the body cam from this officer where you actually see Austin Metcalf's pretty much lifeless body, everyone trying to give him chest compressions, but you see the body on screen, and that obviously brought out a visceral emotion.
That's just a little knife out of my hunting bag that I freaking, like I got knives for cleaning fish and deer hunting and stuff like that in my hunting room, and I just have one laying around, you know what I mean?
Emotional reaction.
That's not what he had. He didn't have something like that in his pocket. He had just a little flip up pocket knife, which I got one in the other room that I carry every day, but I'm just in shorts and in the house right now.
Family, plenty of tears and sobbing and consoling, and I looked towards Karmelo Anthony's side, and it was pretty stoic. There was a pretty, a lack of emotion there, not necessarily in a negative sense, but just really take evidence here, all the facts of this case as the prosecution.
Now, we just heard from a black man that Austin Metcalf's side of the family was hysteric and crying, and Karmelo Anthony's side of the family showed no emotion.
Well, it's different situations. One of their kids is fighting for their life in the court system, and one of their kids is gone. So, of course, Austin's family is going to be more emotional because their kid died. Sad both ways, but Karmelo's family will be emotional if he gets convicted. It's just two different situations. Karmelo's family is not going to be emotional watching the footage.
Not sympathy, not anything.
Absolutely, but you know what I
Well,
didn't
it was
hear?
self-defense. Why would
They
they
were
have
trying to
sympathy?
kill me. I was feared for my life. I had nothing I could do. I had to do this to be able to get out of there because they were going to take my life. They were going to kill me. They were going to beat me to a pulp. I didn't hear any of that. So the self-defense argument starts to kind of fade a little.
You don't have to believe that they're going to beat you to a pulp. You just have to fear that they are going to be the aggressors, that they are going to do something to you, that they grabbed your bag and threw it, or they pushed you. Like, that's, at that point, it's self-defense.
Because that's at the moment when he's confronted by this officer and has the chance to say, listen, I did this because I had to. If I didn't, I would not have been able to get out of that tent. They were trying to beat me up. They were trying to do something to me. They were trying to kill me.
No, you don't say that stuff to the police officer right after something happens. You remain silent until you talk to your lawyer. You don't give any statements. None whatsoever. You say, yes, I did it. This is, you know what I mean? And then you wait and you talk to your lawyer. You don't give no statements. What the fuck? That's the stuff I don't understand when people are like, oh, you sit down and you tell the cops what happened. No, you don't. You sit down and you tell your lawyer what happened, and then you let the lawyer tell the prosecutors, the cops, and the judge what happened. You don't give no statements. You know the rules. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
You don't hear that.
Now, that's interesting because what he's pointing out is, obviously the defense, his defense is, oh, I was in fear for my life. But at no point did he ever tell the police that. At no point did he say, I was in fear for my life, I had to do this, da-da-da. At no point is he defending the action. But on body cam, he's admitting it was him. It's not alleged, I did it.
Yeah, because he did it.
Mortal Kombat 2 wallpapers for your PC.
I'll be honest, it isn't sounding good for Karmelo, and it's sad to see that based on race. You know, this is like a victory thing. Like, obviously one side want him to win, the other side don't, and it's so split down the middle between a racial division. It sucks because it's things like this that just push more.
I hate the fact that people try to push race into a situation. You know what I mean? This was just two teenage boys that got into an altercation. Leave it at that. This wasn't a black boy and a white boy who got into an altercation. This was just two teenage athletes at a track meet who got into an altercation. This has nothing to do with race. I hate that. I really do. And I wish we could all tone down that narrative on both sides. Because, like, I agree with on the politics a lot on the right, but then I see people like Jake Lang saying and doing shit like that. And it's like, bro, you are the reason that the right gets a bad name is because of people like you.
More division throughout the country, even in the comments
Which
section.
I'm not real big into politics. I don't follow politics that close. Like I said, there's just some stuff that I agree with on the conservative side. I'm not one way or the other. I could really care less at this point. Like, it is what it is. But like, I definitely think people like Jake Lang give the people on the right a bad name. And then I also feel like people like AOC on the left saying stuff about white people all the time and saying this and that, I think gives the left a bad name. I think we need to leave race out of it and just govern based on our people, based on people, not color.
It's like, I can do a video on a situation, and if I don't completely align with one side,
exactly,
I have people from both sides like, oh, we knew the whole time you were this, or we know you're a traitor, and that. It's like the stupidest fucking shit I've ever seen.
See, I hate that shit.
It's like, you can't have an opinion. You have to be all the way over here or all the way over there. If you try to meet it in the middle, you're pissing everybody off. And me personally, I don't give a fuck.
Me too.
Who I piss off. I don't give a fuck what keyboard warrior doesn't like it. I don't give a fuck if you don't like it and you see me in person. Either way, I'm gonna have my own opinion and I'm gonna stand on what I stand on. It is what it is. In this situation, it does not look good.
No.
At the same time, they just gave Karmelo a whole white jury. So,
which is fucked.
Form an opinion of that if you may. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't sound good. At the end of the day, he had a knife, an actual knife. He was pushed and he stabbed him. Do I think that's
the narrative that I don't like being ran with, though? And like, they're saying not that he had a knife. Of course he had a knife, but everybody on the internet saying he should have never had a knife. Why did he have a knife? He planned this. It was premeditated. What? Premeditated just because he had a pocket knife? So you're telling me he planned to go to a track meet at a school where he didn't, or I don't know if it was his school or the other team's school, but he planned to go to a track meet and kill people from a different school that he didn't even know like that? What are we, like, no, I guarantee, especially being in Texas, I guarantee he's one of the other hundreds of millions of teenage boys that have grown up carrying a pocket knife every day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he grabbed a knife and was like, put it in his pocket at home and was like, yep, I'm going to go to this track meet and kill these people. Because, like, people are trying to say it's premeditated. It's premeditated. It's premeditated. He should have never had a knife with him. What are we talking about? Like, where did you guys grow up at? Like, since when is it not okay for a teenage boy to carry a pocket knife in their pocket?
Falls under self-defense? Not really, no. I really don't. I don't, because the thing is this, right? I can't imagine myself bringing a knife to school, someone pushes me and I just stab them, and feeling confident I'm gonna beat that case. I just don't. I don't give a fuck how big the kid was. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, it should be like that though. I'm not gonna lie, it should be. If Yeah, the self-defense rules and laws, we have self-defense in America, but not completely. You have to make sure like that you really, really was about to die before you can defend yourself, which is not how it should be. If you put your hands on somebody at all, whether it's a push, a shove, anything like that, they should be able to self-defend themselves 100%. And that's how the laws need to be. But the laws aren't like that. And there's a lot of loopholes and technicalities and all this and that to where like the state that I'm in, Illinois. So like let's say you get up in the middle of the night and somebody's breaking into your car on your property, your car, you own it all, and you come outside with a gun and then they turn around and run from you, you can't shoot them, even though they're on your property, because technically their back is to you. So you're not in fear for your life. That's bullshit. That stuff needs to be changed. Like, if somebody is on your property, breaking into your stuff, stealing from you, you should be able to defend yourself no matter what. I don't care if they're running. See, it's the same way. Like in Illinois, if you wake up in the middle of the night and somebody broke into your house and you come out into your living room and there's somebody in your living room, but they see you and they turn and run away out the door, like towards your door, you can't shoot them because their back is to you and you're not technically in fear for your life. And I think that's wrong. I think if somebody breaks into your house, breaks into your property, or puts their hands on you at all, you should have the right to defend yourself. That's why we was given the Second Amendment. So I think that stuff needs to be changed.
To me, and I'm not looking at it from their case, I'm looking at it from my own point of view. I brought a knife to school, a kid pushed me, I stabbed him in the chest.
Even 1090J,
I don't see how I'm beating
even
that.
1090J keeps saying I brought a knife to school, like he brought it there with the intention of something happening. No, he probably just put that in his pocket every day, like he did his wallet and his cell phone. Because that's how I am. Every day when I get up and actually get dressed, today I just have on basketball shorts because of my broken arm. But every day when I get up and get dressed, I put my phone, my wallet, my cigarettes, my lighter, and my pocket knife in my pocket. It just like millions of other teenage boys. Like this was common. Like I don't know if it's because I grew up in the country and maybe I'm looking at this differently because like at my school, 90% of the boys at my school carried pocket knives in their pockets at school and during sporting events, when we were out on the weekends, when we were, you know what I mean, at lunch, at PE, obviously they were in our lockers. Like everybody carried pocket knives. It was just part of. So like I didn't know that this was like a big issue. Yeah, we didn't have them clipped on the outside of our jeans to where you could see them. We had them down in our pockets, you know what I mean? But like I didn't know that this was a unheard of thing. Like everybody's making a big deal about him bringing a knife. Like I thought that was just a common thing. I thought that's just what all teenage boys did. I thought for the most part we all like I don't know.
I would be thinking like,
But I also, like I said, I grew up in the country. I was going to work on the farm and shit after the farm that was down the road from my house that I worked on. So I needed a knife. I was going fishing. I'm going hunting. So I needed a pocket knife all the time. And he's from Texas. Who knows what type of lifestyle he had? And being from Texas, just because you might not live in the country, you're still around country people all the time. And that's just what country people do. They carry pocket knives.
like fuck, can I get a plea? Can I take 15? Because I'm facing forever. But that's my thoughts. and opinions on this situation. Let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comments section. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and I'm rocking with all of y'all, regardless of race, regardless of opinion. I feel that everyone has a right to their own opinion.
Facts.
So regardless of whoever you side with in this situation, I'm still rocking with you.
I don't side with any of them. I don't know the full facts. The only parts that I'm saying is like if they did put their hands on him first, then he had the right to defend himself. And then the part where everybody's freaking out about the knife, I just don't understand. But other than that, I don't know all the facts of the case. I don't know if maybe Karmelo was the aggressor. You know what I mean? Maybe that Austin kid threw Carmelo's bag, like the other dude said, and then Carmelo got pissed and stabbed him. Maybe that happened. I don't know. But I just don't see that being the case. There has to be an altercation of some sort. Whether one side or the other was the aggressor, I don't know. I try to stay as unbiased in situations as possible, but the facts when people are pushing certain narratives about things is I don't get, you know what I mean? But man, it's still alive, man. I'm gonna get off here for the end of the night, man, or not the end of the night, but I'm free to get right back on and do another live stream, man. It's still alive. Checking out. Peace out, y'all.